Okay, so for example, if instead of this 3.9 we mess that up and we want to change that grade because, or instead of this 2.3, say the professor allowed us to do another project to replace that grade. How would you replace that grade? Well, one way we can replace this grade is this. We can say grades, and we look at which row and which column is this 2.3 in. It is in the 0, 1 to second row, and it is in the first, it's in column 0, right? It's the first thing. So second row, column 0, and let's say the professor changed that to 3.5. Okay, so let's say we change that to 3.5. We will be changing this actually to 3.5, and we can see it using our print method from our print routine from before. So I'll compile this and I will run this. And you can see that now this score is 3.5. It used to be 2.3 in the previous video, but now it's 3.5. We have changed an element of the array, and this is in general how you would access elements in the array. Okay. You can check for elements in the array. So for example, say let's for example count. Let's count the number of 4.0s that we have. Okay, the number of 4.0s that we have. That's an easy addition to this print routine. So when we're printing, we're also going to be checking whether it's a 4.0 or not. Okay, we're going to have a little counter here. Counter set to 0. Okay, and then in my for loop now I'm going to have more than just a printout, so I need curly braces. By now you should know this. So as soon as I print the element, I will also check to see if grades row column equals 4.0, then increment the counter. And then at the very end we will say system.out.println 4.0s semicolon counter. Okay, so we can access an element just by doing, just by putting its row and column and then changing it, assigning it a value. We can access it. This is how we can write a value to the grid. We can access a value of the grid just by giving the name of the grid, the row, and the column, and we can also read the element of the grid and check it against something else. Okay, and then take some action after that. So for example, here we say number of 4s, we have 4, and if we count, we do have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is how we can access the elements of the array. Now, the next video is going to talk about using methods with double arrays and using functions. But there's one more thing that I want to show you, and it is that here I declare a double array like that. Another way to declare a double array would be to say an empty array, for example, would be to say new double, in this case because double is the type, and I will tell it how many columns and how many rows I want to have. I want to have 3 columns and 4 rows. Okay. Now the elements here, because they're double, they're initialized to 0. If there were some object like new string and a 2D array of strings, they will be initialized to null. And if we print this array, we will notice something really interesting. We have all zeros except for this 3.5, which we put here, right? 3.5. We can add more grades. So for example, grades. This is row 0, which was I believe English. 0, 0 is 3.6. Grades 0, 1. Oops, 0, 1, which was the second. 0, 1 would be 0 row, and then the second element, that element will be say a 4.0. Okay, and say I want to change this element here. That will be the row number 1 because it starts from 0. Row number 1, column. I'm sorry. I'm going to change this one. Row number 1, column number 2. Right. So row number 1, column number 2 equals 4.0 as well. Okay. So I'll print this, and you see that there's a 4.0 right here, and there's a 3.6 at 0, 0, which is what I said. There's a 4.0 at 0, 1, which is what I said. There's a 4.0 at 1, 0, 1, 2 at 1, 2, which is this one. And then there's a 3.5 at 2, 0, which is this line over here. So you can create your own array starting from an empty one. Okay. In the next video, you're going to see how to use these things in a function, in a method.